Hi, I've got the air conditioning idea, as you've probably read. This is the video to go along with it, and basically a quick explanation why you should give me the money for this little project. So as things are developing, there's lots of technology that's been developed, but then this also opens up for using existing technologies on old ideas, because now they become viable. One of these old ideas that have been explored quite a few times is using solar for air conditioning or refrigeration. My idea is specifically for air conditioning, because you only need it when it's hot, whereas refrigeration you need it when it's hot and cold. So it's more viable for air conditioning. So there's a couple of things that have changed. First of all, if you have a look at all the research that's been done in the past, it's always been done on small solar cells or solar panels, because the biggest cost is the actual cost of the solar panel. What's changed is solar panels, solar panels are no longer just singular solar panels, but here's a company where the whole roof is the solar panel. So that company does a whole roof that's a solar panel, and so does this company with their solar panel tiles, and so does this company where they make aluminium. The actual roof is the solar panel, and so are those. The actual roof is a solar panel, and so these guys, the actual roof is a solar panel. So there's three companies competing in the same realm that didn't exist 10 years ago. Then the research that's always been done has either been done on intermittent refrigeration with small panels, purely for third world countries, where they're trying to make a simple fridge with no working parts to be used in random third world countries. Or they've had this system where they have the heat come in, it boils the ammonia, it rectifies it and takes the water back again, takes the ammonia out, which then is then expanded. So this is high pressure, this is low pressure, it's expanded, it then evaporates, which is then reabsorbed by the water, and this is pumped. So your expenses here are the fan for that side, some sort of cooling fan on this side, and then the pump. And the pumps have always been high pressure pumps with a injector or pressure regulator with the flow of the liquid coming back. So there's one example from one research project. There's another one from another research project, and they're all the same. The high pressure pump with an injector coming back. And people have appreciated that that system is not efficient, and there it is again solution pump with an expansion valve getting the liquid back. And you need a very powerful pump to be able to pump from low pressure to high pressure. Guys, engineers have appreciated the fact that that is a problem. This is it's exactly the same thing again, but by another university, again with a pump and an expansion vessel getting it back. And guys have appreciated, and there's another university that's done it, the pump and expansion vessel getting back. Guys have appreciated that there is a huge loss with having a high pressure pump there. So what they have done in the past is they've made an injector. So the pump pumps the high pressure to the one side, and when it comes back, instead of just having that loss going through an expansion vessel, or expansion valve at least, you have an injector, and the injector then performs some of the work of moving some of the liquids around. So it is a known loss of energy. So I've come up with my little pump, and my pump, the way that it works is it pumps on the one side, and the return gases assist with the pumping. So now it no longer is a high pressure pump, it is merely a transfer pump. So the things that have changed to make this a viable, worthwhile experiment, and something that we more than likely will be able to make money out of as a project, not just something that's interesting. My development of the pump, as well as the development with solar panels. And then what is my background, why you should give me the money for this research. I work for a startup research company at the moment anyway as an engineer, and I specify pumps, pipe sizes, pump sizes, and all the controls around them. Then from a business point of view, I've run a number of businesses very successfully in the past, and that's why I believe it is a pretty safe bet. Hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. So we have the cylinders. The cylinders rotate, and inside the cylinder are these 4 pistons. These 4 pistons can go backwards and forwards. And when they go backwards and forwards, they're not only pumping on this side, but they're also pumping on the opposite side. So they pump on this side and they pump on that side. So they go backwards and forwards like this. This cylinder rotates as these go backwards and forwards inside the casing. That's the casing there, and inside the casing there's a track, and this has a pin that sticks out into this track, and which, as this rotates, it follows the track around, and these pistons then go backwards and forwards, and thereby sucking on the one side and pumping out on the other side, on this side and on the opposite side. So this side it'll suck and pump, and that side will suck and pump. What will actually happen is the one side will be delivering high pressure, and the other side will have returning high pressure, and the returning high pressure will aid the pumping. So the amount of force that you need is then offset. So here it is. This side will have inlet and outlet, and the other side will have outlet and inlet. And what happens is the pressure coming back will push the pistons down. There's just gaps in there at the moment, but there'll be pistons in there. The returning gas would press the piston down on the one side at the same time as it's trying to pump on the opposite side. Therefore, the 2 pressures would balance each other out, and this then becomes just a transfer pump and no longer a pressure pumping pump, thereby reducing the amount of power that you need extensively or vastly or greatly, however you want to call it. This is a known technology, having the pump in this format but not in this double-ended format. You do get double-ended ones, but on motorcar air conditioning, but they're all pumping in the same direction. This is the only pump that I can find that I've made that will actually pump in the one direction and then have energy saving with the return gas. But the technology is a known technology. This is not a novel idea, the way that it pumps, but it is a novel idea in the way that it is utilized.